You already know what it is. Welcome to Third Degree Vibes, where real women have real conversations about life, love, career, and all the crazy ish happening in the world right now.
We're smart, we're bold, we're fly, and we say the things you're already thinking.
So grab your drink, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Because we got degrees, we got opinions, and we got no filters. Period.
All right, y'all. Today's topic is one we all can feel: rebranding yourself. Not just switching up your hair, your IG aesthetic. We're talking about those moments when you realize you are not the same person anymore, and that's a good thing. So let's get into it. So, Sheila, Adrian, I'm going to kick off this question for everybody.
Okay, we were ready.
Y'all ready? All
We
right.
ready.
She read.
When was the first time you realized you needed a life rebrand, and what triggered it?
You want to go, Sheila? Or you want me? Well, I'll just take this one.
Okay.
It just came to it. Well, for me, I had my own business, another business for many, many years. And I just wasn't feeling it anymore. Like really, the mornings I would wake up and I would be in the bathroom crying. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a crier. So like anyone who knows me, if you catch me crying, it'll probably shock those people because I'm very stoic and you know what I mean? I was raised to be very reserved. So, but my emotions just really caught up to me. And I could tell I was having like a visceral reaction to this work anymore. And I knew it was time for a transition. I spoke about that in the book that you wrote, the anthology. And it was just time for a new chapter. It's not a bad thing to transition. It's not a bad thing to grow. I will say that I mourned the change because it was something I had done for over 20 years, something I had built up from the ground up. But it was time for a change. I mean, it was beyond, it was probably way past time, to be honest. But I'm so used to pushing through that I couldn't see it, I bet. And so I just knew I was in a different stage and I was on a different path and it was just time to make that change.
Sounds good. I understand. I do understand. What about you, Sheila?
I think everybody gets to a point, whether it's relationship, jobs. But I think one of my major rebranding was I love the work that I do too. So that's something that all of us definitely have in common. But I got to a point that I felt like if it was more of a chore than I love what I'm doing.
Right.
So I didn't necessarily get out of the medical field, but I rebranded myself to a different aspect in the medical field. But in that branding, I think that there's like different layers to it. So what it's allowed me to do is now I know you know how some people be like, what's your deal breaker? There's things that I will absolutely not ever do anymore as a part of my rebranding. Just for peace of mind.
Yeah.
Right.
So the things I will not do is I don't want to go back into an office anymore. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because there's so many virtual opportunities. But I think that it's allowed me to explore like, okay, that's enough about what you won't do. Let's figure out what we are gonna do and just and stick to it and be consistent and show up for the thing that you want to see changed. I think that that's my biggest takeaway for rebranding.
What about you, Chrissy?
Well, for me, to be honest with you guys, it's been like I guess the past couple of weeks, it's been triggered because with everything that's going on in the world and just the changes and things that are just like being like broken and cast away.
Mhm.
I've also, like the emotional part, like you said you had,
Mhm.
Adrian, I experienced that because it's like, okay, it's like almost like unrecognizable,
Right.
like your world. So in that, I decided that, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to rebrand myself. I've played by those rules.
Mhm.
You know how they tell you, okay, well, you do this, this, and this, and then this is the output that you get from this and this. And so I've just decided that, I'm gonna rebrand my life on my own terms.
Mhm.
Not on all of these lies that I feel, I'm just gonna say it straight up, that these were lies, a lot of them that were fed to us as kids, as teenagers.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just deciding that I'm living an authentic life. I'm going to be doing the things that I love to do, not that I feel like I'm forced to do. And it
Mhm.
came about really with working in corporate America. Working for yourself for so long is very difficult to go into corporate America, because I think we talked about this before. You become unemployable.
Yep.
So
Yep.
in that, it's pushed me, and I feel like it's just been like a God moment almost. Like everything has made me like, okay, to hell with that. Like I'm not gonna do this
Mhm.
anymore. I'm gonna become my own authentic self, and it's a good thing, basically. Not
Well,
bad.
let's back that up just in case people don't understand what it means to be unemployable. I mean, I had my mentor say that to me because I said the same thing to her. I was like, what's happening? I know what kind of person I am. And it's like, I'm just having these conflicts and whatnot. And what Chrissy's referring to and what I was referring to is that we've been entrepreneurs and had our own businesses for so long. We're not used to having that layer above us. And in a lot of times there's whole other dynamics going on. There's threat,
Mhm.
there's the threatening, the I can't even explain. You know what I mean?
The
The
microaggression.
microaggressions, the underlying professional threat that
Yeah.
we wind up being unknowingly, and a lot of insecurities, and a lot of those. Come on, y'all. It's
Mm-hmm.
women
Mm-hmm.
going
Mm-hmm.
that petty. But
Mm-hmm.
all the
and I
time.
love women.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. Don't come for me. Okay. I do. But tell the truth. It's like we get so, in our feelings about stuff. I mean, when I was in corporate America, which was a long time ago, um, other than, just recently, a short stint, I enjoyed working with men so much because they just
Mm-hmm.
didn't have time for the petty. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that has changed now
Agree.
because the America is so cutthroat at this point. So they feel
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like now some men, not all, feel like they
Mm-hmm.
have to have a pulse on like what's going on in the office and like who's being talked about, and
Really?
um they act like they don't care, but they be all up in the sauce too,
Yeah,
Really?
which
because
is a
they just as
shame.
messy. Yeah, they just as
Um
messy as
but
women.
I was watching something on YouTube earlier, and this girl was on there saying, if you're in the, and it's more specifically to the medical field, if you're in the medical field and you're going to work with full face of glam and long fingernails and long eyelashes, and she's like, that's just unprofessional. I need y'all to read up on how to be professional going to work. They
Mhm.
came for her. There's no such thing as, and everybody's like, not everybody, a lot of people were saying, I'm gonna look as good as possible wherever I go.
Mhm.
Because that's something that I had to, part of my rebranding is I've been wearing sweatpants, sweatshirts, with my hair pulled back in a ponytail, and you look in
Not
the mirror.
pandemic gear.
Ooh,
No,
I've
not
been pandemicking. And that wasn't working out for me. So I had to say, you know what? I at least want to look decent. If I put some jeans on, I'm at least put like a sweater and maybe a blazer on, or a cute shirt
Mhm.
or something. I'm gonna put some
Mhm.
makeup on just to not even for nobody else, for myself,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because I
Mhm.
want to. You never know when an opportunity is gonna come about.
That's right.
It could be from a conversation, something in passing,
Yeah.
and so part of my rebranding strategy is like I'm gonna put my best foot forward when I leave out the house. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do a full face of glam, but I'm at least have my hair combed, and
Mm.
if I have to run into a store or if I meet somebody and have to pass them a business card, at least they're not gonna be like, she just like she rolled out of bed. Yeah. No,
But
thank
that
you.
pandemic got us messed up, right? I mean, I
I
have to
mean,
check myself when I'm walking out the door. Like, wait a minute.
I'm not talking about bonnet. Like I'd never wear no bonnet outside.
Nah.
That's not gonna ever happen.
That's
But
so
pajama
gross.
pants and a sweatshirt, that
She,
was
this
like a
girl was
normal.
on the airplane and had a bonnet on. I'm like, come on, y'all.
Mm.
Man, I should have sent
No.
y'all some pictures from the airport yesterday.
Oh no.
They was
Yeah.
looking a mess.
I mean, I thought they came from the strip club. I was like,
What?
wow, wow, yeah,
What?
wow, yeah. I
Y'all
said,
come for Sheila because she just said that to me. That was
and
her.
I did. I mean, if you would have saw what these folks had on the airplane, and the airplanes are always cold. I don't care, summer, winter, it's always cold on the airplane. But
Mhm.
I'm just like,
Well,
and yeah,
you know what,
go
Sheila, I
ahead.
want to ask you a question
Yes, ma'am.
because of what you said you heard on YouTube.
Uh huh.
So, I always got to play the devil's advocate. Okay, so back in the day, there was a certain decorum, right? That
Yes.
you professional standard. Okay, now I realize we're in 2025.
Hmm.
However, given the obstacles that I'm talking about Black women now, okay, that
Hmm.
we have to deal with in the field. And Chrissy, chime in with what your thoughts are about this specifically
Hmm.
right now. Is it not valid to have a more professional? I mean, there's a club look, there's a look when you go into the club, and there should be another look when you go into church. And I presume that there's another
It
look when you are
Then
showing
they're
up at the
all
office.
meshed
Enlighten
together
me.
because
No.
like a makeup look, they'll wear the same makeup to work as they do to club, and that's a personal preference. I understand that, but I'm talking about clothing. Like if you
Mhm.
feel, if you, you know what they say, if you like it, I love it. We did
Mm.
not want to love none of that what we saw yesterday. We just want them. I mean, of course, you want to feel comfortable, and I had my sweatpants on.
Yeah, but see, you could have your sweats and stuff on and
Right.
still cute and everything like that because you're traveling. That's fine.
Right.
I mean, there was a time when,
Double
when you got
standard.
on planes, you have to be dressed to the
Thank you.
nines. You would have
I
Oh,
to be,
remember that. I remember
oh,
yeah.
that, Christy. I remember
So
that.
yeah, you couldn't go and just be looking
Mm-mm.
like Hobo Kelly going
No.
getting on a thing. You couldn't do that. So I think it just comes back to works. I mean, I think we slacked on that.
yeah,
Um,
Mhm.
and you don't it's like I said, you don't have to have a full face of makeup, but at least look presentable when you
yeah.
go out.
Absolutely. Because if
Mhm.
you look at the stewardesses, or I don't even know what they're called, but from the other, like from the European airlines, they got
Mhm.
the fitted jackets on, the nice skirts or slacks or the
Mhm.
pants and the heels and the little
Mhm.
head thing. I mean, they're like to the
The
nines.
Arab Emirates, they the same thing with them. They dress
Yes, yes,
nine, like
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
and Asian, the Asian
Yeah.
they're not stewardess. What are they called now? They don't call, they don't
Flight
want to call it
attendants, flight
flight attendant.
attendants.
Yeah, honey. Yeah.
Because the ones we had, I'm not gonna say all of the ones, but there was a nice looking man. And he had a nice button down shirt. And then there's a lady, and I'm said, Lord, I don't even know. I thought they had a weight requirement, but obviously not.
Oh, she was
Um,
heavy. They did used to have that
they
though.
used to, yes, but I mean, and
Mhm.
she was just like not put together. But she
Mm.
had an amazing speaking voice, because she was like,
Mhm.
buy the Sky Mile credit card, and you'll get out 6,000 points, and it's like 3 round trip tickets, and so to me, customer service
Mhm.
goes a long way too.
Right. It
But I
does.
think this is valid when we're talking about branding, when we're talking about that topic, to talk about this. So, because everything is so
In your
whatever
face. Yeah.
now,
Because back in the day, remember how they used to say you get one time to make a first impression?
right.
It's facts. Yeah.
So just imagine going to a business meeting in another state. You're on a plane and you strike up a conversation with the person sitting next to you, and by coincidence, that's the same
Mm-hmm.
person you're going to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Because you
so
don't
just
know.
imagine if you was on the airplane with, or wherever that has an airplane, you were walking the ball and you had rollers in your head and
Mm-hmm.
Right.
you had some pajama pants on and
And they
Right.
do.
yeah,
And
and
they
they
do.
do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we wouldn't think about leaving the house in house shoes.
Or
Okay. Now, when I was
rollers.
growing up,
Oh no.
no, that
Never.
was not the tea. Oh, my mother is probably spinning in her grave. There is no way,
Oh
no
yeah.
way that we walked
No.
out the house looking any old kind of way.
And when we
Mm.
went to church when we were younger, we had to wear a dress and dress shoes and
You remember
now
Tie.
the whole
it's a
clean
lot
underwear
more.
thing, Sheila? Remember that?
Tie.
What? Remember Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yes, I had
Yes.
those.
I was just okay.
And I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't like have my nightgown, like just walking around with my nightgown on. I had to have my robe on.
No,
Absolutely. And you had to wear a slip under your dress.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, you
excuse
better have
me.
your slip. Oh
Man.
yeah.
There was a time of day that you better have your behind dress. What are you talking about? Laying
Oh
around the
yeah.
Yeah.
house.
You bet
Oh
not
yeah.
in the summer. You bet
What?
not be.
Oh no.
What you
Oh
doing?
my gosh. Wait, so
Right.
I just posted this picture. Easter, my sister sent me this picture of her and I on some Easter when we were kids, right? So
Uh-huh.
we had the hats and the gloves on,
Oh
Oh
right?
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
mean, no, we,
Mhm.
But that was the standard
yes,
that was
Mhm.
set, and that was the expectation. So
right.
Exactly.
now people are like, just be yourself, be comfortable, just do whatever you want to do. I think that that comes with the cost though. Like
Mm,
my biggest, when I was like going into work every single day, and I I still have clothes that I literally have to throw away. I had so much stuff. It was like I'm the fashion show. When I go to the hospital, everybody gonna be like, "What are you wearing tomorrow?" Oh my gosh, I can't believe you walking around in them shoes. But guess what? There's a time and a place, because now I couldn't walk in them shoes if I wanted to. But
I'm
Right.
I'm
still
glad that
trying,
I
Sheila.
did.
I'm still trying. I can't throw my shoes out. I'm like, no, I love.
I know, man. That's like the biggest thing. I'm talking about. I have. I'm not even gonna tell you how many shoes I have. I have so many shoes, so many clothes, so many boots, so many everything.
Oh my.
But that was that. So that was my standard. That was my, I guess,
Mm-hmm,
my brand.
mm-hmm,
Okay, we know Sheila's gonna dress to the nines every time she comes in.
mm-hmm. But we were taught and we were raised that this was a representation of not just you, your family as well.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yep,
Mhm.
So
absolutely.
you was not gonna have me caught out there and have my mother tell somebody tell my mother that I was
Yeah,
looking crazy. No, no,
Right.
exactly.
no. That
Yeah.
wasn't.
We went somewhere while we were in Texas, and we were sitting outside of the gym waiting for Taj's basketball game, and my cousin was like, "Oh my gosh, that little girl just got a shirt on," but it was like, or it looked like a little tiny dress that she had some
What?
like shorts that you couldn't even see the shorts underneath what
Mm.
she had on until she started really moving. And she said, "That's a shame." She's like, I'm surprised they didn't send her home because they usually don't let middle schoolers dress like that because he played
Middle
at a middle school.
Wow.
But I done
Yeah.
picked up Taj, and I'm like, her entire cheeks is out. That's like, wow. Somebody had to see that all day long at school. She had to walk
Yeah.
out the house, and everybody thought that was okay. No.
That's when it comes down to parenting, though.
Yes,
That's
thank you.
hmm
Yeah. I mean,
and modesty. Modesty. I mean, it's okay to be like you get a certain age, you want to be cute. You got your
Yeah.
little figure, you want to be cute. That's cool, but you still can be cute in a modest way.
Oh,
You don't have to be
absolutely.
so overt. Like now it seems like everybody just showing everything. You're not leaving nothing to the imagination
Yep,
at
exactly.
all.
Well, and especially if you're talking about a certain age. I remember having a conversation with my son. This was a couple years back, and my granddaughter was in the wedding, I think, or she needed to dress for the wedding. And this is on the other side of his family. And so I saw the dress, but retroactively, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I should have been involved. Okay. Because some people were not raised like we're talking about. So they don't know.
Oh, yeah.
No.
It's inappropriate for a 10-year-old to have a slit up her thigh all the way up. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But now, so like now, I can remember the dress I wore for prom. Like it was nice and fitted, but it was like not revealing at all.
Mhm.
But now, I mean, these,
Girl.
Oh, now
I
it's
mean, whew, whew.
Wait a minute. How do we get on this? How do we get on the whole gear?
okay. Yeah, we all lost. Okay, we gone. We went a whole nother. We went a whole nother place. Okay, next question, y'all. We'll get back on track. Do y'all think rebranding yourself is more about shedding who you're not,
Yes,
finally stepping into who you always were?
yes, yep,
You
Uh,
believe that is
yep.
shedding who you are both?
Well, I think that it's for prom. I mean, you have, and this is for the younger people. If it's like something like prom, they don't even know who they are at that point. They're just gonna get the
Mhm.
hair done. They're gonna look like they're going someplace real expensive and extra important. And for that day, that is something extra important. But I think that we should set the standard like, hey, this is a once in a lifetime thing. You don't want to look back at your pictures and be like,
mhm,
I don't even recognize myself.
mhm.
Or
Right.
or wow, them dresses was ugly back then.
Right. Yeah, because I'm looking at mine. We back talk about the prom again, but I look at mine like that was a hideous dress. Like I don't even know. My mother like we wanted to design it. I'm like, well, it was a style back then, but she's like, yeah, but it was just I didn't approve of it. Well, guess what? I did back then. But you know, you now is ugly compared to what the style is now. So that's just how it
Oh yeah.
goes. But I think that when you're rebranding yourself, like how I came to this conclusion a couple weeks ago, um, is basically me stepping into who I've always been is where I'm going. It's not who I guess I would say it's shedding. I guess it's both in a way, but more of me stepping into who I've always been.
So do you
Um,
consider that rebranding or like a um what is the word I want to say? Rebranding or more like a it's not a reinvention because you're not like redoing, like you said, your
well,
hair or
both.
okay.
Both. It's reinventing, like reinventing my life almost too. I guess rebranding, reinventing. I guess it would go like together for me because I think that I'm taking like some parts of me that I want to take with me, but for the most part, I'm just becoming the person at this age that I've always wanted to be. Like, you know, like you play the rules, like not like I'm about to be some kind of like gangster or renegade or nothing like that. It's just like, you know, it's just like you play these rules so well all these years, and then it just comes to a point. And that's how I feel. Like now it's like I'm not gonna be like holding back myself. I'm gonna be who I want to be. I'm going to do things that I've always wanted to do and not allow fear or procrastination, things like that. I'm trying to get better. Just like I told Adrian earlier, I was like, remind me about me publishing my book tomorrow. Cause there's just certain things like I've become adapted to in this rat race that sometimes I'll push things that I know that I need to do for myself or that I would like to fulfill. I'll push those things aside just to do what I've been taught that I'm supposed to do. So I think that it's both. I'm shedding who I'm not because authentically I don't think that that's really Chrissy. That's learned behavior. But then at the same time, I'm stepping into who Chrissy really is. If that makes any sense.
That's good.
That is good. I think another way that you can rebrand yourself is like, you know, Chris, you were just saying pretty much like you're keeping the things that you like or focusing on the things that you like and then just incorporating the things that you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it without a filter, without any outside, you know, noise. I'm just gonna do what makes me happy. And I think it
Right.
sometimes it takes a while for people to get to that point in their life because you want to follow the rules, you want to stay in the lines, you don't want to, you know, you
Don't
don't want
kill
to mess
outside
something
the
up.
line.
And
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because I think our parents were in the generations like you get a job and you stick with it for 30 years and you retire and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And now, you know, the mindset is more, I'm gonna do what makes me happy. If I want to travel, if I want to do whatever, like that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm
Right.
glad that the younger generation has at least adapted that into their
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because why
They,
stay somewhere for 30 years if you're not happy? You know, or you're stressed out or
You know,
I
and
agree.
I want to talk about what you were just talking about because that was the mindset of our parents, but it was again just like Chrissy was talking about earlier with the prom dress. You know, it's a different time, it was a different era. The jobs were different. They
yeah,
treated their employees differently.
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not that way anymore, and so there needed to be an adaptation on the worker side too, you know. And you're right, I that's one thing that the younger people have gotten right. It's like, and they said that the pandemic bore a lot of that because people could see that, you know, it could be over
oh
anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
Right.
I'm toiling away at this job and you know what I mean? Like
oh
I'm not
yeah,
even getting to enjoy life, right?
yeah.
Right. Right.
That's who wants to wait until you're you can't make it around the block and you're trying to go to another country and enjoy
Right.
yourself and
Right. Running through the airport when you can't run through the airport.
yeah, I mean,
That kind of
yeah, that's it's important. I think that but I think the other really good thing is that we see all these people that are having to go back to work. So they're almost getting like a forced rebranding. Like, okay, I got to go back in the office. I got to deal with the mundane of driving in, you know, spending an hour or two on the road to get there, hour or two on the road to
Right.
get back, and all that unproductive time. So I think that people would say, you know what, I'd rather work 2 full-time jobs at home than deal with
mm-hmm.
craziness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quality of life. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Um, and
If
just
you would, if you were talking to your younger self, what is something in your rebranding journey that you would tell yourself from 25 years ago?
ooh, um that you know
Hmm.
what? Oh gosh. Oh, that's a good one, Sheila.
I got a whole lot I was telling her.
Well, I would, you know what? You
I
want to
got
go
a whole
first, Chrissy? You want
bunch
to go
of
first?
shit
Because
to
I'm trying
tell
to
her.
unpack that. I'm trying to unpack that. Go ahead, Chrissy. What would you say?
Oh my God, I'll tell her so much, but I'll keep it PG. Okay. But
Oh, no.
Thank you.
I would tell her to be bold. Uh don't listen to people. Make up your own. Do what you feel is right. If God is telling you to do something, jump on it. You can color outside the lines. You're okay. Your
Mm,
thoughts is okay. You don't have to do what, no offense, you don't have to do what your grandmother did. You don't have to do what your, aunties did. You don't have to do that. And you don't have to try to make everybody happy.
ooh.
Like, oh, Chrissy's a good girl. You always want to hear that. Like, oh, Chrissy's a good girl. Chrissy's a smart girl. Oh, she did it right. Oh, Chrissy. You don't have to get this self gratification from pleasing others. Because when
Yeah.
Mm,
you'll come to an age of 50, like, 50 plus, like me,
Yeah.
and then, you'll come to the realization that it's not even worth it. Like these people, no offense, but they're not even really worth it. You were trying to
mm,
like gain applause from people who really you love them, but they play no part in your growth or your everyday life.
Mhm.
Nothing. You understand?
And
So
and more importantly, they don't pay no bills
they pay no
on your
bill.
behalf.
They
Yes.
don't rub your
No
back.
big.
They don't do nothing. Like it doesn't even. It's it's just craziness. And to live in that is like really it's psychotic because I, you know, not we'll talk about that in another episode, but I see, people like in my family and that can still see those behaviors and they're grown people and they're still trying to like impress, still trying to get applause. And that's when you sit back at this age, because at this age, you start not caring what you say.
Mm.
It
Oh
just
yeah.
becomes like it's a whole nother thing. And you look and you say, my God, is that me? Because that's you tripping. Like you're tripping. So I know I was tripping. So,
Oh yeah.
but that's a little bit of what I would tell Chrissy. That's a little bit.
Okay.
What about you? What about you, Sheila?
I think the most important thing I would tell myself, because I was like kind of one of those slower to come to Jesus talks,
Mm,
everybody else had stuff kind of already figured out, but I would just be like, you are enough and don't I don't want to say belittle, but like don't put yourself down to make other people feel important because you're just as
mm-hmm,
important as them.
Mhm.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wow.
What about you, A?
I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head. So, I mean, just what you both just said. I mean, what
Whatever direction that God takes you in, that's where you're supposed to be at.
that's right.
Mm-hmm,
And,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to sound a little bizarre for me to say this because I know that I exhibit something different, but there's a lot of self-doubt that lives under the surface. So I would go back and I would tell Adrienne, you are going to figure this out. You're going to be successful in what you're doing
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
figure this out. Because, you have those naysayers. Luckily for me, I have this kind of rebellious tone in my personality. If you say I can't do something, now I'm more determined to do it. But
That's me.
those people,
Yep.
they bother me still because I know that there's people in my realm that would just stymie them, that would shut them down. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other thing I would say is don't be ashamed of who you are. Um, Everything we were just talking about, when I was younger, I tried to downplay. And I was just telling a friend of mine recently, I said, who am I and how dare I downplay the advantages that my mother gave me?
Yeah.
All right.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I talk a certain way, if I act a certain way, I should not be ashamed of that. And I can look back and say for a long time, I tried to downplay, like you were saying earlier, to make other people comfortable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not to take anything away from what their life experiences were, but mine were different, and that's okay. That's not something that I should be embarrassed about, for goodness sake.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely.
I can look back and see that that was me. But to your point about the filter's gone over here. I'm just going to tell y'all, I'm on the other side of 60 now. Dude, I don't even recognize myself, Chrissy. I'm like, listen, this is a PSA. Do not ask me, okay? Unless you want the
It's
truth,
yep.
Right.
okay? If
Yeah.
you want me, okay, find somebody else. You got other girlfriends, for real, for real. Don't thread over here because you're gonna hear it, okay? And I'm gonna presume that you can, deal with it because you came for it. So, and even my husband, I was telling him today, I'm like, you get your feelings hurt, but please, okay? I was talking to him on the phone and he started crunching this bag or whatever. You know how the microphone is on the phone. I'm like, this is in my ear. Can you stop? Well, you were just chewing in my ear. I'm like, for real? Are you 7? Stop. So I can't, this is therapy talking, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, I pushed it down for so long and it comes, what the dude say? What the bill comes due, it bubbles up.
Oh
And
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't do it no more. I can't push it down no more. If you come for me,
Mhm.
you're gonna see it in my face.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
But I think women are conditioned a lot, and I think that that's why I think as women we go through so many different layers of rebranding, because when you finally come into your own, you're like, oh, I'm not going to. I had somebody working with me on my disability claim, and she's like, oh, your resume has all these like just great things on it, and but that's not the kind of job you're looking for. I want you to just. She literally said the words out her mouth, and when as soon as she said that, like my brain just shut off because I was like, lady, I don't even know what you're talking about. She said I needed to dumb my resume down so that
Oh
I could find.
no.
And I
Oh
said,
yeah, they'll tell you
where do
that.
they do that at? Because she said, if
Mhm.
What?
somebody looks at your resume, what are they gonna think? And I said that I'm competition. And she's like, oh yeah, but you don't want them to think that. Why not?
Wow.
Yeah,
See
well,
what I'm saying?
maybe I don't need no 15 or
That's what
$20
we're talking
job.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
I don't want to dumb myself down at this point in my life. I want people to hear me. I want people to understand what I went through because all the things that I went through make me the person that I am today.
But you spent your life building up that resume. You spent your life
Yeah.
building up to that person, and now you are supposed to dumb it down.
That
Let's
that,
think
that was
about
her
that for a
exact
second.
words. That's
Let's
yeah.
think about that for a second. And would she do that? Excuse me.
But
Mhm.
but again, that's part of corporate America. So
Yep.
maybe she was okay with it because that's something that she had to do, or that was along the lines of what she would accept. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not me.
Sometimes too in corporate America, they
Hmm.
want you to do that because they are afraid of you getting a higher position than them too. So you have
Exactly.
to be kind of careful with them. They'll tell you, remove this, or remove that you know how to do that, or
Yeah.
I've even read a lot of women now are like removing their degrees because they can't find
Wow.
that now, because they'll feel like, okay, you're gonna get in here and you're gonna want more money, or you're gonna want to leave, or you're not gonna stay. So they do that. So it's a trend now to dumb yourself down
Yep.
and be unauthentic and
Yep.
be miserable, because that right there is showing you already that if you're willing, so you're trying to rob from me.
Yeah.
Everything that I've accomplished, everything that I've done, everything
Mhm.
that's a part of me. So you want me to come into your establishment not knowing, basically
Nothing.
raping myself, not knowing your systems, but you want me to basically erase who I am so that I learn who you guys are and let
Yeah.
that adapt to me. So that was your answer anyway. No, you don't need to
Yeah.
be there anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what? Now that you say all that, well, you guys both know that I just went through, what was it, last year, this situation in the same type of environment.
And
And I
what?
very early on could see that this person who was my director
Mhm.
was threatened by me, but it was so it was so bizarre to me because it was like, I'm obviously older than you, so I
Mhm.
I have more life experience than you just on face. So I mean, but if you're competent in your role, why would you need to be threatened by me?
Because
And
she's
you
not.
hired me for my expertise, and this is something that you know nothing about. So why then all of a sudden are you so threatened? It was untenable. It was not even a workable situation, and I wound up leaving. Um, but that is just crazy to me. See how the dynamics have changed,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
right?
But
Yeah.
I think with her situation is this: they'll hire you sometimes because of the things that you have accomplished, but then you come in there with a different type of personality. You're not the girl that she could pat on the head.
Right.
That is
Yeah.
already a threat. If you come in there with this type A personality,
Mhm,
leader qualities flying all over the place, then
mhm,
it becomes a threat, especially if you're a woman of color. That's
mhm,
when
Oh
they
yeah.
really become guarded, you
Oh yeah.
know, and they will hide any opportunities for you. They will
mhm,
gaslight you. It's a game. This is just like playing Monopoly. It's a serious game. And it's a game that I do not want to play
Well,
ever.
that's what I was just about to say,
Exactly.
Chrissy. So then what do you do? Because that in what's the word? Inauthenticity is
Mm-hmm.
is like I don't know. I've told you both that my son has told me, and it really just is it's really, what would you call it? It's really just the way I carry myself. It's not meant to be threatening. It's not meant to be whatever. It's just the way I was raised to carry myself, and everybody in my family was raised this way. You know, understand what we were just
Oh yeah.
talking about.
Yep.
And so, you know, my mother and the family was from the South, from North Carolina. So they come from people who built a life and built and they carried them in such a way, they carried themselves in such a way, and they raised us that same way. So I don't know how to be different, but
Mm-hmm.
apparently that's even my own child has said, well, mom, you can be intimidating. And I'm like, I don't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I'm not trying to be. However, I'm not trying to be somebody else either. Like you,
No,
Christy, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
no,
That's fake.
I
Yep.
refuse. That's why I will never be like, there's some people that are in corporate America and they are probably at the top of their game because they will kiss ass. I will never be that person.
Mm-mm.
Emma and Joseph had a child on June 2nd that is a rebel. I do not like, I'm just gonna say it straight up. I do not like people telling me what the hell to do. It's just, that's just it. That's just how God
Yes.
created me. I'm not that. I'm a free bird. And I
Oh
will
yeah.
do the work. I will give my 100%, 110%, yes. But you will respect me
Right.
because
Yeah.
I am not going for the bullshit. I'm not a little girl. And even when
Right.
I
Yep.
was a young girl, I didn't take it then.
Right.
Yeah.
So you really ain't gonna do it now. So
But no, that's isn't that true though, Sheila? I mean, it's like, well, wait a minute. I I actually in any environment at this point, you cannot just talk to me any old kind of way now.
Oh,
Mhm,
That's
that
not
yeah.
acceptable.
That goes without saying
mhm.
because you.
Right.
I mean, like you know how your parents, when you were young, your parents did not have to say nothing; they could just look at you and you'd
Oh
be like,
yeah.
"I know what that
Yes,
means."
Oh
yes,
God. I didn't even want that. Okay.
yes.
I didn't want that look.
Exactly. I don't want
No.
And I
nobody
want that
being
smoke. Nope.
any type of
Oh my
disrespectful
God.
because I feel like at this point in our, because we're all around the same age, like
Mhm,
I think I've already, I'm not going to even say paid my dues because that sounds like I was climbing a ladder, but I've already put in more than I should have,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the
mhm,
outcome that I got out of it. So now,
mhm,
whatever I do as part of like rebranding, rebirthing, rejuvenating, I
Mm-hmm.
want it to be like all positive or all, things are
mhm.
going to add to my life.
Mm-hmm.
No craziness, no
No.
back and forth.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
We're
we're
not
not
going to keep
importing
on
no
going, have no
bullshit.
conversation about, well, what about this? And then you didn't do this. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe you should have thought about, well, if that's what you wanted me to do, then maybe you should have told me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then
Mm-hmm.
there's
Right.
no guessing game. You telling me what you need, and I'll make sure it happens. But other than that, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability.
Right.
I ain't with the games. I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
Neither am I. I don't have time.
Mm-mm.
I really don't have time. No. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. Okay. So, do you think you have to hit rock bottom to finally rebrand, or can it come from just outgrowing the old version of you?
I think it can come from just outgrowing. I mean, that's where I feel, I don't know if I said
yeah.
that earlier. I just feel like I'm grown into a different person. I mean, when I talk to people and they say, how long have you been married? And I say, well, married 34 years, but we're different people
Oh
than we
yeah,
were.
Mhm.
There's no way, or we should be, for God's sake. There's
yeah,
no way that we're the same person. And with that being true, then you have these metamorphoses where you change and you grow and you become a, not maybe even a better version, but a different version of yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there are things that should be better. There are things that are just changed and different. I mean, that's the way I feel.
Oh yeah. Look, when we were younger, we liked going to McDonald's. When you hit a certain age, you'd be like, I can't eat nothing out of McDonald's at all.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't
Right.
even want no French fries from out of there.
Right.
But
Exactly.
you're like, okay, maybe I could eat a burger from, Mike's or something. But I think that as a part of rebranding also, I think that another thing that can kind of hinder you, I was watching a video that my daughter did for um her business. And she
Mhm.
said, and one of the things she said in the video was like, I felt like I was kind of just going through the motions. I wasn't putting my 100% in, but things were working. So that was okay. But now I feel like I need to redirect my energy so that the things that I'm trying to achieve, it just kind of came naturally. But now I need to put more effort into it and just imagine, you know, going full throttle at something. You're like, okay, I'm not going to take any excuses. I'm not going to wait for this to happen or the stars to align and it be the perfect weather. I'm just going to focus on the outcome that I want.
Mhm.
So when I was talking to Taj over the weekend, I said, he really wants to do good in basketball. And I said, you can continue to be, an average player. You can work out, a couple of times a week, or you can put in the work to do things that other kids aren't doing. I said,
Mhm.
you
Right.
said you're going to help me out. I said, well, I'll wake up in the morning with you. You can, tell me what to do, and help me out, and I'll be there to
Do
motivate
some
you.
drills.
Yeah. Um, but like, yeah, but that's part of also kind of like, you don't do it intentionally, but like lowering your voice and dumbing yourself down or just being like, okay, sure, okay, we'll do it that way. And deep
Yeah.
down, you're like, nah, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way.
Right.
But telling them to put yourself out there now. Don't wait until you're 50 to be like, okay, I'm going to rebrand myself. Do it now. Make,
Right.
make sure that you're always evolving, always learning, and always striving to be the best at whatever it is you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, what do you think, Chrissy? Do you think you have to hit rock bottom before you rebrand, or what do you think?
I think it would be easier for it to just come before you hit rock bottom. That's
Yeah.
right.
So you could
That's that's my answer. Yeah. Um, that hit rock bottom is our fun. So I don't wouldn't want to do that. I think that just coming to a point, that it's time for me to do something new, like outgrowing the old version of you. I think that that's easier because you can just transition, and it's a decision that you still have control over somewhat.
right.
And it's not so hard, like because when you hit rock bottom, I mean, it's like you may have so many other things that come with that. So I just think that just making that decision and just sticking with the decision too,
Mhm.
it could be kind of fun because you're like, okay, I'm about to be I'm this new chick. Like I'm about to be something. That's how I'm feeling. Like, okay,
Well,
I'm not.
it kind of sounds like what Sheila was saying, and it's like, having some standard, right? So if you hit rock bottom, you're not gonna know what to change. You're gonna think
Right.
everything needs to be changed because
Exactly.
you're on the bottom. But when you gradually grow into this rebranding, this new person, then you can say where your bottom line is for this or that. I'm not doing that ever again. I'm going to handle this differently. I'm going to carry myself this way. I'm going to, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. Exactly. You have more choices. You have, more freedom in those choices, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I agree. I
Mm-hmm.
do agree. Hmm. All right, y'all. So have you ever, you know, this is a good one.
No.
Have you ever started your rebrand, or and then felt guilty about it? Like, dang, am I leaving people behind?
Okay, so this is gonna go back.
Well, I'm glad you're going first.
Well, I got two roads to take on that one. So for the first one, this is gonna go back to the episode when me and Sheila were talking about our adoption story. So if you haven't heard that, go back and listen to that for context. But there was a time in that journey with my birth father that I was very confused. I talked about that in the episode, I believe, that I was very confused about my own identity because this was happening so late in my life. And then I realized that there were some things that just were not okay with me. You know what I mean? And I somewhat felt bad about throwing down the gauntlet and saying, okay, no, I will not be talked to like this. I will not be treated like this. I don't approve of the type of person you are, these type of things. And then over the subsequent years, I was like, I went back and forth in my own mind. I didn't discuss with anyone else. Am I being too harsh? Should I reconsider? Because I cut off communication. And I would go back and forth with myself. And then last year when he passed away, I was like, how am I going to feel? Was I being too harsh? And I stood there next to his casket and I was like, no, I was being who I am. And this was not okay. And I'm okay with that at this point. And before you jump into that, I just had a recent moment with a girlfriend of mine, and she said something and it really threw me. And I think sometimes it's hard for the people around you to accept that you're this rebranded person, you're this different version of the person that they did know. And they want you to come on back to the fold and be that older person and be accepting of this, that, and the other that is no longer serving you. But I did not receive that. I did not receive that. So I don't know. What do you think?
So I think when I was younger, I used to feel guilty, but now I'd be like, goodbye. Bye, Felicia. Like, yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. Because if you look at things, and it's not like, if you can't do anything for me anymore, you're out of my life, but like, just like you outgrow people, relationship, friendships, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because you don't want to be connected to something that no longer serves you. And I'm not saying yeah, like
that
goodbye.
That part.
So
yeah,
I used to feel bad, but I'm just like, but if I was still connected to that, I'm gonna have to deal with all that emotional energy, turmoil, stuff I don't want to deal with. And that's not being selfish. That's being selfless, because you don't want to be like just dragged down by somebody else's either negative, bad energy. And Adrian, that's why I love when you post all that positive stuff on your page. Like, that's that kind of energy I want to be connected to. And not saying nothing bad about nobody. It doesn't mean I don't like that person or anything like that. It just means like the shell has came off, or the snake skin has came off, and this is the rebirth. And I want to be connected to the type of people that I want in my life. And I want to be that type of person. I want to be the positive person. I want to have have people connected to me that have the same type of mindset.
But that's what you do, right? You put out what you want to attract,
Exactly. Yep.
And I think a lot of people, now tell me what you think, but I think a lot of people, I actually had a therapist tell me this a long time ago. She said, Adrian, you think that other people think like you. And I was like, oh, that's for real. And I think a lot of people think like everybody's like them. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but like,
you are.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Mhm.
And so when you have to put up those boundaries, boundaries are not bad, y'all. Boundaries are not bad. They are
Mhm.
guardrails, if you want to put that word in place of, because like I will tell friends and family, look, I'm working. When I'm at home, they see me at home. So I'm primed to be interrupted at any moment, right? No, 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 no. It takes you so much longer to get right back into the groove. You know what I'm talking about, Chrissy. Get back
Yeah,
into what you were just doing. They said studies say it takes 20 minutes to get your mindset back where it was. And so
Mhm.
I have the phone set on do not disturb. Okay,
Yeah,
because y'all just calling to say, hey, what are you doing? I'm doing nothing. Oh, let's hang on the phone. No, 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 no. And I'm okay with that. And I've had families say, oh, you don't answer your phone. I'm like, no, because I'm work. If I was at a physical job, you couldn't call me all day.
exactly.
Okay. So it's more about me. I turn things around. I don't put things on other people as much as, even when I'm answering questions like on the other podcast, I'm like, flip it around. Is there some culpability that you have? Is there some culpability if I pick up the phone every time you call and then I want to be upset that you've taken me out of my groove? And whose fault is that? It's mine.
Exactly.
I've set
Right.
the standard that it's okay for you to interrupt me at any given time. It is not. So let me, just like with my clients back in the day, no, do not call me at 10 o'clock on Saturday night. That is not
Yeah.
okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Most definitely.
what do you think?
I think that meant and yours. I don't give goodbye. Okay. Bye bye, baby, like God used to say.
Bye, bye,
Bye bye.
bye, bye, bye.
Bye bye, baby. Yes, baby. Goodbye. I don't care anymore. And
Oh,
I don't know if it's the middle age syndrome, whatever this is. I don't really care anymore. I used to be like, oh, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want them to feel like I'm changing or I'm not,
mhm.
cool with them. So yeah, sometimes you dumb yourself down because I don't want them to think that they think I'm better
Right.
or this and that. You do that. But no, at this point in my life, nope, I don't really care. That's part of rebranding. Like
Mhm.
I can't, like Sheila says snake skin. The snake skin is
Mm.
off or whatever, it's gone.
Mhm.
Okay, then what am I hanging around with these snake still? If that's the case, if my
Right.
my skin is gone, then why am I still chilling with these folks? Like I don't really care. I wish you great luck. I don't wish any bad on you.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I'm
Mm-mm.
better than you. I don't look down on you, but I can't kick it with you. You can't be in my circle. My circle is very sacred. Let's put it that way.
Oh, but
And it's
listen,
with
but
like-minded people like you guys. Like I can't be around people that's and especially in this toxic world
oh,
now. I,
oh,
I can't I can't afford it. I can't afford to have those type of people around me that really don't want the best for me and only cool like where they could put their finger on me to figure out like, okay, well, she not gonna do this. She not gonna.
mhm.
No, I got friends that I chill with, like you two, that's like, okay, Chris, we'll go here and do this. And Chris, you could do this. Oh, Chris,
Mhm.
and for your other business and Chris,
Mhm.
that's what I'm talking about. Those are the people that you surround yourself with, not with.
Right.
So no, I don't care. I don't really
And
care.
if you
Bye.
continue to surround yourself with people, remember I was talking about that one seminar I went to 1,000 years ago, and the guy said, I'll never forget it. He said, if you have negative people in your sphere of influence, get away from them
Yeah.
because they are going to keep you there, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to be a billionaire, you're not even hanging around with millionaires,
No.
right?
Right.
I mean, yeah, and it's not about, I think it's I think it's a feminine thing. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe things have changed, but we worry too much about other people's responsibilities, not my responsibility, how you feel about
Hmm.
what I'm doing. Okay.
Exactly.
No, that is all you, boo boo. You can like it or lump it, and it's not going to make any difference because you're not directly involved. Like Sheila said, you're not paying one bill.
Exactly.
So
No.
talk to me when you're paying a bill.
Yeah.
Then
And
you
I'm,
have
you
something.
guys, I'm sorry, y'all. Go on.
No, I
I'm
was going
sorry.
to say people that have like something to say about what you're doing. I always say,
Mm.
well, point the finger back to you. And if you're not happy with everything you're doing, focus on that first. And
Yeah,
I'm going to worry about my stuff. You focus on your stuff, and I'm worry about my stuff.
that's it.
Right.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
And I was gonna say this, like, I don't know if you guys ever run into this, and this is one thing they're, in rebranding yourself and people, but I've always found that, you end up being kind of a people pleaser because you're with these toxic people and you're always kind of walking on eggshells because they're like looking for you to do something so they could be mad at you about it. Like,
Oh,
oh, you didn't support this, or you didn't do this, but did you reciprocate what you want from me?
yeah.
Because
Yes.
finally, I'm not doing what you want me that I normally do. Have you ever done the same thing for me? Have you ever done the same thing for me? So it comes down to that too. Like, it doesn't mean like what's in it for me, but it after a while you have to think, okay, am I giving so much and not reciprocating that back? That's in a relationship. It could be with your lover, it could be with your family member, it could be with a friend. It goes both ways. Business. I
Business
mean,
too.
it has
Yeah.
to be fair. It has to be level ground. It can't just be like one sided, and because
No.
that's draining. That's not fair to you. It's not self
No.
love.
Yeah. But relate that to, in biblical terms, being equally yoked. Okay.
This, yes,
Hello.
Absolutely.
yes,
So no, it's not. That's what I was about to say. We so concerned about, oh, I don't want to be mean. I don't want anybody's feelings to be hurt. What about Adrian's feelings? Hold on.
exactly.
Hello. I've shown up for you consistently. And what have you done? But who's that on? Because I'm doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Hello.
Yeah,
Insanity. Yep.
Hello.
right, right.
So
Insanity.
I got to do something different so I can get something different.
Yep.
Can I get an amen? Because I mean,
Amen.
Amen.
no.
Self
That's what
love.
this age
Amen.
will do. That's what this age will do. It'll cleanse,
Yes,
cleanses the
cleanse
palate.
all the
It
craziness.
it'll detoxify
Right.
all the
Oh,
wrongness.
oh my gosh.
Detoxify. Yes.
Yes, it will.
Detoxify.
We baptismal. That's it.
The baptismal. The
Okay.
baptismal.
I ain't doing that no more. I ain't doing. That's what you get to. It's like, you know
I
what? I
don't
ain't
know what
doing
he's
that
doing.
no more.
Right.
Huh.
Hmm.
Mm.
Oh, too much. Okay. Final question, y'all.
Yeah.
Do you think sometimes we fake a rebrand just to survive, like put on a mask instead of really changing?
Mm.
I think sometimes that happens because sometimes you're kind of at a loss and you don't know, you haven't done the deep dive to actually figure out what you need to work on or what you need to focus on. So sometimes you're like, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that. And it's just like so much. And then you just need to focus on one thing at a time instead of trying to focus on 20 things. I'm going to
Mm.
change my hair, my nails, my eyes, my lashes,
Mm-hmm.
get a BBL. And the only thing you need to do is
Yeah.
just start with
Right.
your mindset.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes that does happen. Like you say you're rebranding, but then it's just kind of like it's more like a regroup than a rebrand. And then when you finally
Mm-hmm.
do the deep dive and be like, okay, these are the things I really need to work on. So this
Mhm.
is what I'm going to focus on. I think then you give yourself a fair shot of actually, instead of just throwing up stuff against the wall to see what sticks, like figuring out, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to focus on. And then once you finish that, then, okay, this is the next thing I'm going to work on.
That's good.
I think exactly. I think if you're faking it, it's probably because you, just like Sheila said, you haven't done the dive. You don't know what it is, where you're at this point, right? I can understand it because it sounds like a survival technique. And depending on, the environment that you're in, then it might be necessary, but it'll come a time when that'll drop and you need to figure out what this new phase is. And it can take a while before you realize where you're at, and that you are this different person, that you have different goals, that you have different, it's kind of like I have, my room is an absolute catastrophe. And it's just because I hang on to stuff. And to be honest, if I went in there and I was purging like I was supposed to be doing back in February, there's so many things that I could just throw out of hand because it's not even my style anymore, you know? And I think it's the same thing with our lives. It doesn't suit us. Like you said before, it's not serving us. Or maybe Sheila said, it's not serving us. That's the word my therapist used too. It's not serving us anymore, and it needs to go. Okay.
Right.
And if we allow it to hang around, or we hang on to it, then it just delays our own progress, our own rebranding to where we want to be, you know?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you guys. The same thing. I feel that the point of rebranding is so that you can reach that goal, because it is like an ultimate goal to meet that new person. And for me, like, it's the anticipation for it. So faking it, that's like a waste of time. Like, I might as well just still be crazy Chrissy if that's the case. Like, I why not just take the steps necessary to do what you need to do so that you can rebrand your life, and make changes and feel good about it. So for me, like, it's an anticipation to see that new person, to meet her, to see the fulfillment, to feel it, to get all the perks from it. That's what I'm anticipating from it, instead of, faking it. Well, I don't have time for that. Like, sitting up faking, that's like faking an orgasm. Like,
no,
I'm being real. Like, you go through all of that and then you faking it. Like, come on.
You get nothing in the end.
You get nothing in the end. Right.
Oh my God.
But am I telling the truth though? It's the truth. I mean,
but I was just gonna give you so much props for saying now I've almost lost it. To meet her, you do need to meet that new person, right? And I love the way you put that. It's like you're delaying meeting that person. And who are we faking it for?
Right. You're still you're doing a disservice to yourself.
Yeah.
You're still abusing yourself. You're still creating even a larger void, because you're gonna, not only that, you're gonna be like, I'm faking, I'm a fraud. Your void is gonna be even larger. No, who has time for that? Who has time to wear a mask every day to fake who you want people to think you are? Come on now. I have no time for that.
No. And you know what? There's two things that I detest, and it's liars and somebody wasting my time. Oh my God.
Yes.
I can't handle
that.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Oh yeah,
even my own kids, I'm
absolutely.
like, are you going to listen to me? Otherwise, I need that 20 minutes back. Cause you know what I mean? It's a waste of, I cannot abide that. I just, please don't even. So, and
no, it's like, come correct. Don't come at all.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh my gosh. Ooh.
This was good.
Got me upset. The whole orgasm thing threw me out.
I'm sorry.
Did you hear that, Sheila?
Oh yeah. Look, she was just keeping it real.
Just keeping it real though. Like,
and that's, do you know what that is? That's people pleasing too, right? Because it's like,
I'm trying to make you feel good. I'm trying to stroke your ego, and I'm at a deficit. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Be mad as hell because you like inner side, like, damn, like, okay. I mean,
we grew up in the Prince era.
Yes.
We grew up in the Prince era. Wake me when you're done. At least you'll be the only one having fun.
Look at vanity.
Keep it 100. By the way, I didn't do that. If you didn't earn it, you didn't get it. I'm sorry. But that was inauthentic.
That was inauthentic, right?
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So closing question. Oh, wait, before this. Real quick, if you're listening and you know you're stepping into your new era, make sure to DM us or tag us at New Era. Who is this? We see you. Also, Sheila has a. What do you want to tell the people, Sheila?
Don't forget to like, share, and follow, and in your journey, so that we can see what's going
Breaking up.
on.
Just repeat it for us one more time, Sheila.
So you to like, comment, and share, and include us in your journey.
Thank you. All right. So, okay, closing question. Let me hear you guys' closing thoughts. Adrian.
Yes.
If you could leave your younger self a rebrand survival kit, what 3 things would you put in it?
I gotta keep this copacetic, right? I started to say something. A shiv, no. Some antidepressant, no. Okay. I would leave her a note. And I would say, you're gonna be so much better on the other side of this. You are gonna be so proud of yourself. I would tell her you're gonna have some fans that just build you up. You're gonna have people that love just to be around you, i.e., y'all. What else would I leave her? A big box of chocolates. Yeah. I mean, I would tell her she's, like they said in Sex and the City, she's gonna be fabulous. So.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Sheila, if you could leave your younger self a rebrand survival kit, what 3 things would you put in it?
The first thing I would do is give her a box of forgiveness. I would give her a box of unapologeticness, and I would give her a box of you can start all over again, and just wrap it up in a bowl and deliver it to her.
I think that's great. Let's see. For me, I would give her a mirror so she never forgets who she is.
Ooh, that's good.
I'll give her a journal so she can write her way through her chaos. I also give her some red lipstick because even in the mess, she's still that girl. That's what I would give her. Put the red lipstick on and don't think about them crazy people, them crazy relatives, and everybody else.
Oh my God. Oh my
God. Keep it pushing. So yeah, so a mirror, a journal, and the red lipstick.
Oh, I love that. Do we all have red lipstick? Because I have a red lip. I do.
I do. I have matte Woo.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
What's it called? Yes, that's
a pretty color.
Yeah.
Ruby Woo.
Ruby Woo. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Ruby Woo, baby.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect way to end it on Ruby Woo.
All right. So there you have it, your rebrand survival kit from all of us. So how are we going to close this? What's your closing words? Any closing words, Adrian?
Yes. Please like, subscribe, and follow us for more content like this. We are having a blast, as you can tell, and we want to bring you along for the ride. So please follow us. Stay tuned for the next episode. You're going to love it.
Thank you. Until next time. Bye.
Bye-bye, y'all.
What you need to say, Sheila?
No, saying bye, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
No, your word.
Is
My word.
start
Oh,
with
period. And period. That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Oh Lord. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Bye, y'all.
This has been the Third Degree Vibes. And if nobody told you today, you're still chosen, still covered, and the story ain't over. Thanks, you guys, for joining us.
Thank you. See you the next time.
Thank you.